That's great.
All right. Well, Liv, welcome to the community conversation. You got a nice introduction before this, so everyone knows who you are. And without any introduction, everyone knows who you are. You're like one of the most OG people at Prototype. So, with that being said, why don't you just kind of talk everyone through like how you got involved in Prototype, how you like got involved in the gym, for the people that might not know your story.
Yeah, so thanks for having me, by the way. I think my dad started working out with Mike, the OG, founder and owner of Prototype back in the day when he was a trainer at BSC. I think I was like 12 at the time. I'm 23 now. And I think my dad was the one that got me into like weightlifting basically, or he was the one that suggested I get into weightlifting. I played sports my whole life. Soccer and lacrosse were my big things. And I wanted to play competitively in high school and then go on to college, hopefully, for one of them. So I think probably Brent Harwood was the one that was like, you should like come, I don't know, like work out with Mike, lift some weights. So then I started working out with Mike at BSC when I was like 13, maybe. I think we snuck me in there when I was a little bit underage. And I remember the day you, Mike, were like, you heard of CrossFit? And I was like, no. And you were like, it's the next big thing. And I was like, no way, I don't believe you. And then Mike left BSC to open up CFP at the time. And my parents and I followed him over there in 2012. And I think for the first, like, I don't even know, like probably like 3 or 4 years or something, we pretty much only did personal training with you. I think I was intimidated by the CrossFit classes and stuff, and just was like sticking to personal training with you. And then I think it may not have even been till I was in college that I started going to the CrossFit classes and stuff. Definitely having my mom as my workout buddy helped me like get over my like small social fear of like doing a workout class with people I didn't know. But now I love it. I would tell everyone I played competitive lacrosse in college. And everyone always asked me, like, I was the strongest on the team. I could always do the most pull ups. And everyone's always like, Liv, like, how do you do it? And I was like, CrossFit. That's the story. And I do CrossFit classes and I work out with Mike. And
And now you're an adult.
that's where
You're
I'm
not a
at
little kid
today.
anymore.
I'm 23 years old. I'm going to have to start paying for my own gym membership soon, which is very scary.
And you're going to be moving into South Boston soon. And one thing that you didn't
Yeah.
mention is that you were Canadian for a little bit. So
Oh,
uh,
yes.
when was that? Because I don't think everyone knows that you guys left like this area for like a short like hiatus for your mom's job. So
Yeah.
what was that like? Talk about like what was it like being Canadian?
Yeah. I think I kind of blacked it out, honestly, but no, I didn't. But yeah, we moved right after I finished eighth grade. So I have two older brothers, but it was just my parents and I that moved because my brothers were old enough to be on their own. And we lived there for 2 years. And I kept playing sports up there competitively. And like my school required that we play sports like all 3 seasons. So I picked up some new ones. And my mom's biggest thing when she moved up there was finding a gym. So we did find like a great personal training gym, which ended up like the owner of that gym ended up opening up a CrossFit gym in like Oakville, the town we lived in. So that was a big part of our time up there as well. But we would still come back to the gym and like work out whenever we were home over like the holidays and stuff. And yeah, then eventually moved back to Westboro and I did my junior and senior year of high school in Westboro and then went to college in Maine. But again, still whenever I was home on breaks, like came back to the gym and did classes and everything.
Awesome. So you graduated during this COVID thing.
I did.
Can you tell people that may not know what that was like what your experience was like kind of going through COVID, being a college student and being like your senior year? Sorry to bring that up, but a lot of kids now are kind of still feeling that same feeling that same effect. Now it's starting to kind of get to the tail end of it here in Massachusetts. Seniors got a lot of seniors have like graduation tomorrow, like high school seniors, and like I know Hopkins has a parade, and Westboro's having their graduation and stuff. So at least those kids are getting that opportunity. What was it like being in college, especially your senior year, kind of living through COVID?
Yeah, so it was right in the middle of lacrosse season. Actually, we like spend basically, I played in a league called the NESCAC, which the season starts February 15th every year. You can't have any coaches practices or competition before February 15th. And like February was kind of like when the world like went on lockdown. So it was weird. Like we went on our spring break trip to LA and we got back and that's when things were getting really bad. And I remember I got back to the locker room after practice one day and Amherst, another college in our league, had decided they weren't having lacrosse and we were like freaking out. We were freaking out. We were like, what does this mean? Like there's no way Bates is shutting down. Like we're gonna be fine. Like we already had our spring break. A lot of schools had like their spring breaks coming up. So I think we thought they were covering their bases by like not allowing people to leave campus and return. But like so that was like on a Tuesday. And then on like a Thursday, we found out that that school was done, that we were being sent home. So it was like a very insane 48 hours. And from like a lacrosse perspective, we had spent from the second we got to campus in September until like we were probably at the beginning of March at this point, preparing for the season that we weren't even going to get. On a completely individualized note, I was kind of like over college lacrosse at that point. So as much as I was like really sad to like not be spending time with my teammates, and stuff anymore, and I was sad for my teammates that still really did want a season. I kind of was just like, okay, like this is happening. And then obviously being sent home, my friends at first were like, we're all gonna stay. Like we had a house off campus, like let's all stay. Let's just like we'll eat like Panera and Chipotle for every meal, like it'll be fine. It quick, like 3 days later, everyone was like, okay, we need to leave. Like this is just not safe and it's also just not sustainable. Um, so that was really crazy. But I think one thing that helped me kind of get through it was knowing that it wasn't like just a me thing. It wasn't just a friend group thing. It wasn't just a Bates thing. It was literally the entire world. So it wasn't like, oh, why us? Like there were like millions and billions of people going through it. Obviously, we were still all safe and healthy, which was really big. And honestly, like now I'm kind of thankful we got out when we did because I feel like so bad for everybody else that's still in college and like the people that just finished up their freshman years that they like their senior year of high school was cut short and now their freshman year it was tough probably to do like all the normal social things. So it was just kind of crazy. The time has gone by really quickly. But it's just like weird to think about what like 15 months ago at this point I was
Yeah,
in person living
yeah,
life.
I can't imagine being in school going through that stuff. It stinks, and like you said, it stinks for the freshmen. Just to be you had a good perspective on it, and then you also continued to like stay in super good shape, and like many, I shouldn't say like many, maybe many folks like at Prototype, but not like many folks like across the world. You and Sally and Brent continued and still are doing like virtual like training and virtual classes. I want to talk about that. And then actually I might know what I want to talk about before we go into that is like staying on like the college and like high school like side of things before we get more into your you now as an adult is
Mm-hmm.
like being in high school in training and being an athlete, being in college, training, being an athlete. Not many kids have like, I don't want to call you a kid, but like at the time you were a kid, devoted like as much time to like their physical, like their fitness, their health, like their well-being. Not many kids are in that mindset, get up in the morning, go to a 6 a.m. class. Like
Yeah.
how did that what is going on in your brain that was like a decision you made that this is what I want, this is what I'm gonna do?
Yeah, I think that, well, first, a big part of it, honestly, was my parents like supported me through a lot of it, like not only financially, which was a big thing, which I'm very appreciative of, and a lot of people don't have that luxury. But also just like my dad is slash like was working out with Mike 3 times a week. My mom is in the gym like every day. That definitely has helped me a lot. But in high school, I remember like lifting weights like was not a thing for like the people on my high school like lacrosse teams and stuff. But I remember, and we still got in like good workouts, I guess, like in games and at practices. But I remember during soccer season one year, I had been like training with Mike in the off season, and then soccer season came around, and I was like, okay, I'm like getting like workouts in during practice. I don't need to be kind of like going into the gym as much. But I noticed I still like, I kind of felt like crap. Like I didn't feel like I was in shape. And then I reached out to Mike and was like, can we start training again? So yeah, I just felt like I always felt better when I was like consistently actually like lifting and like doing real workouts in the gym. And that was a thing that translated to college too. Like I went to a D3 school that was competitive, but a lot of people had no experience lifting. Um, and it definitely showed like I was blowing people away in the weight room. But even at school, it is hard. I always felt like I was on a much better track when I came home, which has made the transition to being like virtual and like now being an adult and like not being in college a little bit better. Like it was always hard for me to stay on track at school, but I knew that like when I came home, it was my time to kind of like reel it back in with both my nutrition and like being consistent in the gym. So overall, just like I think the main motivation there is just like feeling better, and like you look better when you feel better too.
I want to talk about nutrition in a second, but let's keep on that track with the virtual. Like what, like you guys are like doing tons of virtual, and you got like your got get your spot in the Cape. You'll go to the Cape, do your workout. You'll go, and you're working full time too from home, and then you'll do your workout like at your house in Westboro too. Like, what is that whole? I know you've been consistent, so that's played a role into you don't want to stop being consistent. But even there's some folks out there that were really consistent that like you pivot to a virtual and they're like, not for me. Like
Yeah.
what made that easier for you, or what keeps you doing that? Well, I mean, besides the fact you have an appointment with me, but other than that.
I think, well, definitely the main thing is like having a schedule, like whether we're working out with Mike on a day or just like deciding. I mean, before I started work, I was still living at home from like March to August before I started work. So that was a time where like I still tried to be very like, maybe I wasn't getting up and doing like the 7 a.m. CrossFit classes, but I still made an effort to do like the 9 a.m. thrives every day. So still just like making a plan. I've also just decided for myself, this might change when I like move out, but and I'm living with my friends, but I know that if I don't work out first thing in the morning, it's not happening. So I like won't roll out of bed until I'm ready to work out. So that was kind of more of a factor when I wasn't working, but now that I am working full time, it's like I'm working out at 7 or I'm not working out at all. So I might as well work out at 7. And then the other thing that has really helped me is honestly, like my mom, living at home with my mom and her also being really committed. Like it's nice when my alarm goes off in the morning and I can already hear her downstairs because I'm like, oh, gotta get up. But I have really liked virtual. I mean, like my parents have totally hooked us up. Brent Harwood specifically, shout out, with like a bunch of like home workout equipment and stuff, which has been awesome. But I love still being able to take a class. Like everything is still programmed. I don't need to like think of my own workout. I just need to show up and like be told what to do and like make myself do it. Yeah, but I love virtual, and it's I get to sleep in an hour later on a selfish note, and I roll out of bed like 5 minutes before class starts. It's great.
I don't think you've ever missed a workout, like because you like decided to sleep in. I'm wondering like if your mom would ever give you a hard time for just missing one because like I don't feel like it, like sleep in.
We normally talk about it the night before. Like it's kind of like maybe we won't say we're not working out tomorrow, but we wake up in the morning and we're both like, it's not happening.
It's a
I,
mutual agreement.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, definitely. But
you hold
I don't know.
you hold each other accountable to work out. You also hold each other accountable not to work out.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, it's like if one of us is not working out, probably both of us are not working out. but I like to rest on the weekends. So my motivation is like, just gotta make it through like Friday, maybe Saturday, and then I can rest.
So back to the part about like nutrition, you use like 2020 COVID and all that stuff to really dial it in. I mean, you're back home, you're not in school, all the other stuff that comes with being at college and stuff. But like you like made like a huge like transformation. Like what did you do, and like what advice would you give to like other folks that are like that want to, you know, make that progress as well?
Yeah. So I think just being home in general definitely has helped me a lot. Like, obviously, I'm not drinking as much and I'm not in like commons where there are like endless food options and I can just like have whatever I want and I'm being like influenced by my friends. Um, but I will say I feel like my transformation did kind of start at school. And I had been I'd been like working with like prototype nutrition on and off, I think since I was like a freshman in college, but I couldn't really get myself in the right mindset. I kind of kept being like, I was tracking macros, but it was like all or nothing. So it was like, if I go over my macros, even the slightest bit, like I'm throwing it out the window and I'm just going to eat like everything in sight. So I was in like a really unhealthy pattern for a long time. But then I think like maybe like towards the end of my junior year of college or like my senior year of college, I was working with John and the macro counting was like very important for me to learn kind of like portion control and learn like, yeah, I can eat this, but like this is like kind of what I'm putting into my body situation. And then from that, I was able to just be like, okay, I'm going to eat what I want, but I'm not going to overdo it, like kind of more of like a mindful eating approach. And that was like really what did it for me. Like that is when I really started noticing like the transformation, I guess. Just like I guess like listening to my body and stuff. But being home has helped me like get over the end line, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah.
And
But surrounding yourself with people who I feel like think similarly, like people who also want to be healthy. And, I eat like a lot of crap in a day, but it's all about balance. Whole foods, prioritizing whole foods.
what is your favorite food? Like if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would
I
it
think
be?
I think sushi. I
Just
love sushi.
what kind of sushi though? Like Yama sushi? You're talking like you're talking about like a like sashimi? Like what are you talking about?
I like the maki. I think that's what it's called. I think that's like
Mm.
Yama sushi. I mean, Yama sushi is kind of like fake sushi because they just throw everything in there. But I like I love some salmon. I love some tuna. I love some avocado with spicy mayo drizzle. I've been really into poke bowls recently. There's a place in Worcester called Atlantic. Oh, it's in Shrewsbury actually, called Atlantic Poke. I got Brett and
Hmm.
Sally on them. It's like a burrito bowl, but it's like sushi ingredients. Amazing.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
never heard of that place. What's it called again? Atlantic.
Atlantic Pokey. There's one in Shrewsbury. There's also one in Marlboro across from the Apex Center.
Mm.
Delicious.
Oh, that's awesome. I love a good poke
Yeah.
bowl.
Good.
Well, let's get into the Spitfire round now that I just asked you that question because I wanted to change up these questions, but we just haven't got around to it. So, question number 1B, because 1A was the food. Favorite movie and TV show of all time, and what are you currently binge watching right now? I know you're a Netflix binge watcher.
I am. Okay. Favorite movie. I feel like I always say Back to the Future. So I'm going to go with that. But also Legally Blonde is an honorable mention. Best movie of all time. Better than Mean Girls. Sorry, not sorry. Um, my favorite TV show of all time is probably The Handmaid's Tale. It's so messed up. If you like messed up stuff, you'll love it. It was also a book.
I watched like I don't know like to try to watch the first episode with Erin. She had it on, and I was like, I can't watch the show. I was like, I
It's
can't watch the show.
it's really screwed up.
I was disturbed by it. Couldn't watch it. But
My favorite genre,
I can see it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, my favorite genre of like books, movies, TV is like the psychological thriller, like really screwed up stuff. That's my favorite.
You like Dexter?
I haven't watched Dexter. I'll add it to my list.
All right, add it to your binge watching list because now we got to go on to that. What show are you binge watching right now?
I'm currently binge watching Below Deck. I've been
Another.
in the past couple months, have been very into the Bravo shows. I watched Summer House, changed my life. Do you know what Summer House is? I've definitely told you about this. Summer
Yeah, you
House,
did, but I don't know.
Summer House is like a bunch of like New York City adults, like late 20s, early 30s. On the weekends over the summer, they go to the Hamptons and they just like party, and it's like so insane. Highly recommend. Below Deck. Do you know what Below Deck is?
Nope, haven't heard.
Below Deck it's a reality show about the lives of people that work as the crew on a yacht that is chartered by like billionaires. Very
Billionaires, yeah.
entertaining. Many episodes, many seasons, perfect for binge watching.
That's awesome. All right, next question. Favorite musician or band of all time? And then I'm gonna add to this too, like, what's your favorite song of all time? You only listen to one song. So those are like those are two questions. So favorite
Oh my gosh.
musician or band of all time. Does not have to be related to your favorite song of all time.
Okay, I don't know if this is my favorite of all time, but I really love some Ariana Grande. I know that's so basic of me. Um, I don't know. She just bops like hit after hit.
She what's have you seen that video of her? It was like on SNL when she like impersonated like all these different like music, like it was like Britney, and she did like Britney Spears.
Yes, she's really talented. She
She's
can do
really
like,
good.
yeah, no, but she's dope. She just got married. Shout out Ari. My favorite song, I don't even know if I have a favorite song, but I've really been into Cowboy Take Me Away by the Chicks recently.
What's that?
No, it's like Cowboy Take Me Away. You'll know, you know it. If
Keep singing it. Keep singing it. I think I'll
That's
get
like
it.
all I know off the top of my head. But I
All right.
also really enjoy listening to Sirius XM Channel 12 pop rock.
Wait, is that like throwbacks, like 90s pop rock?
It's like I feel like it's like 90s, early 2000s. Like
I used to listen to that all the time.
it's
It's an
amazing.
awesome
Always on
station.
a
Such
Brent
a great
Star.
station.
Yeah.
They play like Blues Traveler and Matchbox 20 and like all like the good music. It's not, it's just not the same caliber anymore. Last question is, besides working out, what is your favorite thing to do? What's your favorite hobby? Like, what do you like to do?
On a perfect day, sit on the beach and read a book. Period.
Sit on beach, read book. Yep. What's the book you're reading right now? You reading anything?
I am. I got really into reading last summer and then I like stopped and I just got into again. I'm currently reading The Wife Between Us, obviously a psychological thriller. I'm like halfway through. It's about like, I don't know, some guy like marries this girl and ruins her life. And then he like divorces her and now he's marrying a new girl. And the like first wife is trying to save the new wife. And it's great.
So complicated.
It's great.
Could be a true story too. What's that show? I think we talked about it. You just got me thinking about it. It was on Netflix. There's like 3 seasons. There was that guy that like
Ozark.
No, it's like he was like a guy who like followed this girl around or this woman around. Yeah, that's it. So you must have loved that show.
Yeah, that was good. It honestly not one of my favorites, but it was good.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. That guy's messed up.
When I think of psychological thriller, that's like all I think about is something like that, where this guy is just like an absolute psychopath. And like you're kind of like, oh, like I hope he like she likes him, but then you're like, he's a psycho.
Yeah. And then he kills everyone.
And then kills people. Well, Liv, I appreciate you being on this community conversation. Just got to know a lot about you. I already knew all this stuff. I know everything about you. You're like my sister, basically. But everyone that's listening right now got to know a little bit about you. So I appreciate you being on. Everyone that's listening right now, I appreciate you listening. Remember, if you haven't yet, subscribe to us on Spotify and on YouTube so you can catch the community conversation every week. There's a new episode that comes out every week. So get on that. And again, thanks, Liv, for being on the community conversation. We'll see you all real soon.
Thanks for having me, Mike.